one of those things, statistics will say what you want them to say if you look at them. One of the trends I wanted you to look at is which ones are not doing anything. Because we still need LDR1, we still need the LDR2, we still need the high density, but what is not happening at all in our city at this point? And that brought us to the first part. So Kyle, if you will open up the sheet. Do we have that open? The first one?
I didn't see it long enough.
I think that's the one. I have to get you the one that has the markups in it.
Alan, what was the PRO?
That's a pro zone that we had, and we did one project with it, and that is Hemmings Village, the very first one. They come in and designed one specifically for just that, to bring it in to do a test of, does this work for form-based code?
All right, thank you.
So-
We're all like, what?
Yeah.
That's the only area.
Yeah, and it's just sat in reserve until we got form-based that would actually replace it.
Which one was? Oh, I missed that one. That's what we need.
Alan, do we have access to these?
You should have received copies of them. They should have been.
So this would be in that, would have been in that, and that's how I wouldn't be reading that? Okay, there was a lot to read.
There was, and that's why we have this
And I
working.
just looked for red and green.
Okay, let's scroll through till we hit the first change. Okay, hold it right there. This is what is in our code that says, here's the designations for our zoning and which one of the classifications within the comprehensive plan that it fits. So when you see this, the ones you see and crossed out are the ones that we're going to be discussing tonight, okay? So in the commercial, RBD is residential business district. We have 2 lots, and they're up here just above, I can't remember the name of the physical therapy, but it's Dr. Fulmer's old office right on Main Street up towards the hospital, and the one next to it. They're the only 2 in the whole city. And it was a zone that was developed way back to kind of make it so we almost a mixed use where we can have residential use or we can do commercial in the same spot. We proposed once of removing this and taking it to commercial, and we had citizens come out and just basically shoot it down completely. And so we looked at that and says, okay, it doesn't fit what they want to do. We will get into what we want to propose that as we get a little further, but we want it to go away and look at moving it into a mixed use, which would require residential and commercial. So then it would fit more of what they're trying to do in that situation. So if we get to that point. Low density 3, this was mentioned in our last time when we were trying to rezone on the Birch property, that you guys felt, some of you did, that LDR3 should be in low residential rather than intermediate, so that we could get a cap on that before we jumped into medium density and then on up into the higher densities. So that's one of the proposals we're looking at, is just moving that into the low residential.
The only thing I worry about.
Alan?
Go ahead. Is that Brianna?
I think so.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we discussing it now?
I just wanted to mention that when I got on the council, we had the LDR3 with the LDR1 and 2. We've tried that. And what happened was then it was really hard to have unattached housing in any zone, because then they would build to the townhouses that were in LDR3. So we've tried that, and there was a reason that we put it with MDR.
But we have attached housing in our low residential,
Yeah, but they're twin homes.
right? I'm just
So
going off
I'm
what was
just saying,
discussed in the meeting.
I just wanted to let you know that
Sure.
I wanted everyone in the room to know this has happened. We have addressed it. There was a reason, because either place you put it, you're gonna have problems. So we've had it in, we've already tried putting it in with the other 2. I just wanted to make sure everyone in the room knew that, if you weren't here when that happened.
Sally?
But we've tried the other, now we've tried this, and it's come back to bite us several times in the last couple of years since we changed it big time also. So I guess there's a lot of thought that needs to go into that, but We've just
And
kind
I
of
think
kept
it
running
was
into
really-
that, and it's cost us.
And that's
hardly-
why we're doing
Debatable.
this.
It was debated on whether we wanted to change it or not. We ended up doing it, but I'm not sure that was the best thing to do.
Let's do this. We'll get through this because this is just listing what changes we're proposing. Then we'll get into each zone, and as we do those, then we can discuss, do we
Okay.
want to do that or not?
Alright.
So that was a proposal there. One of the things we're looking is removing RR1 and taking RR2, change it to residential estate with a half-acre minimum. Remember, that's a half-acre minimum. They can build them as big as they want. So if they want 1 acre, they want 2 acres,
That was my question.
Yeah.
Because I definitely don't wanna lose the R2.
No.
Because like I say, you look at Pine Brook Estate, that
Yes.
thing's filling
Yes.
completely full, more or less. You look at some of these other, we have very little R2.
We
And there's
do.
a lot of the ones that are permanent, the second or third home, where they wanna get in that and have a shop, a garden and stuff, there's nothing out there.
yeah, and we want to keep that. We want that opportunity for those that want larger lots, want to be able to put a shop in the back and have those things. So we don't want it to go away. We also don't want the ability to go away of people to go to a bigger one if they want 1 acre lots. And the thing to realize is our lot sizes in all of them are minimums. We do not set maximums on any of our lots. So you can do an LDR3, you can do an HDR1, you can do 100 acres and put 1 unit on it. We don't limit that. So now maybe we do in the future, but right now it's never been a problem. Aaron?
So the challenge of building a Pine Brook in today's world, with curb gutter, sidewalk, storm drain, you're looking minimum 200,000 a
Mhm.
lot, minimum. So I think, is residential estate contemplating curb and gutter, or is it
Yes.
open?
Curb and gutter. It is ribbon curb. Ribbon
Like a
curb.
Willowbrook.
Yeah, it's just, well, and in Pine
That's what
Brook,
we got at Pine Brook is.
Yeah.
we
ribbon
just got
curb.
that strip of concrete
got a
at the edge of the
4 in
pavement.
Then you
Oh,
go
But it
in
does
sidewalk.
require sidewalks.
Sidewalk.
Yep.
You require sidewalk in
sidewalks.
RR2.
Yes.
Which. I'm having a little heartburn with that, going, if that's, because there are some, a full acre lot, there are just areas that, well, I don't know. Maybe that's more out of the county, I'm thinking.
You run into the issue, and I've seen this before, when you wander some of these RR1s, you still have people out walking the roads, trying to, just go for a walk in the neighborhood, or kids trying to ride bikes and that. It does put them at a little more risk to be out in the roadway, rather than have a sidewalk to walk on. And we have very few areas. The only ones we really have is the original Willowbrook and Pine Brook 1. Those are the only 2 that are RR1 in our city.
And Whittison.
Whittison.
And Whittison, sorry, I keep forgetting Whittison. And they don't have sidewalks. Would it be advantageous for you guys to have sidewalks?
Not in a dead-end street.
Well, that's true too.
It works, I mean, there's a little bit of walking down there, you don't have enough traffic, you don't have enough there, it's dead end.
But if it was a through street, would that be different?
Could be. Depending on how wide the street is.
I don't know, I sometimes debate, I mean, I like the sidewalks, but even in my subdivision, my wife and all of her friends go out walking in the morning and they don't walk on the sidewalks, they
walk down
walk
the
in the
street.
road. Cause there's kind of, so,
The object is what about children?
yeah, they ride their bikes in the street mostly.
Some of them do.
Actually, they drive their golf carts in the street mostly.
That's quite
Well, we're not going down that road. That's a whole separate deal. Anyways, let's roll on through, keep moving through.
Can I ask a
You
question,
may.
Alan? So with that, residential estate, that, I don't know, rural estate, what are we calling it, residential estate?
Residential estate.
Estate, is that separating it from, the rest will be tag now then? Is that what that
Tag
separation?
will be your next lowest one.
The next lowest one, so instead of having that RR2 or R1 together, we're just combining those 2 and then tag?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not changing tag. It stays the same. And tag does not require sidewalks.
Yeah,
And we've got a change that we're gonna propose in that one, but we're not taking it away. And we're not requiring sidewalks in there either.
just because right now we still have that in the city, but.
Yes, we have a
but
lot
when
of
we
tag.
don't have it in the city, then that can change things as well? Is that what I'm hearing? Okay.
So what's driving that change?
Nobody
had
wants our
issues.
R1s.
What's that?
Nobody?
Nobody wants our R1s. The city has never rezoned to RR1, ever.
What's the minimum acreage in RR1?
1 acre.
1 acre, limit, okay, 1 acre, nobody seems to want.
Now, you're looking at me like, Alan, you're feeding me a line here, because we have
Well, they can't make
RR1.
money.
Wants it.
The people.
Every
want it.
single
People want it.
R1 that the city has was inherited from the county.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever asked to rezone to RR1 in the city. Yeah,
But you do have a couple of neighborhoods that will probably come into the city that are full acre lots.
Exactly.
and they'll come in as residential estate.
Yeah, and they're not gonna like that.
It isn't gonna matter, they're not gonna make them change anything.
I'm thinking of Quail Hollow.
Of course, they're fighting to even be considered taken into the city.
I know, but it'll happen one day.
Well,
I'm just saying that's one.
Why would they not like that designation over RR1? I mean,
Well, I mean, probably sidewalks and curb and gutters are two big,
I think they already have curb, don't they, ribbon curb?
no.
No,
Oh, they
it's
don't?
right to the
Okay.
grass.
I didn't know if they did.
So if they become part of this residential estate, does that mean they're gonna have to change?
Not until they sell their house,
So when the house is sold, then it will need to
be
change?
brought up to the current standards. We require sidewalks at that point.
See, that's where it come a big
Yeah,
heartburn.
and you're
for a lot
talking
of
about
these.
full acre lots, lots
That
of
would be
frontage. It's gonna be a real expensive.
That would be
It is.
expensive. Yeah, that'd be a
real
huge
expensive
expense.
thing. So I've got
I do
a
too.
little bit of heartburn there. We'll address it as we go.
Okay.
Hmm.
This is the residential, we're just pulling it out of these zones in the districts if we decide to go that direction. And it's just showing that. Keep on going, Kyle. That's the RBD one. Rural residential there. This one, we're gonna scroll through it quick. This is just what would be removed out of our permitted uses if these changes go into effect. So we can go clear through all the permitted uses. We just wanna show you everything when you look through this that would change. Keep going all the way through. I think your first one is,
And another thing to changing off the R1 too, just throw this back out while you're scrolling down, the livestock, things you have on that. it
Still
changes
in
that
there.
Too.
It does.
just in LDR3. Everything else stays the same.
No livestock everywhere.
No, once you get up into medium, we don't allow livestock.
I'm thinking this one here.
R1.
No comfort animals. Comfort donkey. Comfort donkeys, comfort horses, horse apartment.
Hey, don't laugh, I know somebody that has a
Okay.
comfort horse
McKay.
in an apartment,
In an apartment?
in an apartment.
What's the zoning? They're just south of you. so-
Okay, keep going down. This is just in the parking, it would change in those. Keep going.
Do they have sidewalks?
Somebody inherited something, they didn't
They've gotta be that RR1.
Okay. Again, this is just home business, we're just removing them if they get changed. Now we're starting into the first one, and this just basically says if you choose to move forward, RR1 would just disappear out of the code. So everything's blanked out on that one. So I guess before you get into RR2, now we need to have the discussion on RR1. Reasons for keeping it. No sidewalks.
No curb.
Well, the new ones would have to have
Yeah, that's what
curb.
I'm saying, but
So you gotta look at the future of new ones would have to have curb. They just would not have to have sidewalks. So that's the one disadvantage. What are the advantages of taking them into the residential estate?
Currently, is there a difference between, when it comes to livestock, is there a difference
Difference
between,
between the two.
okay, so that would, nothing like
Nothing
that?
there changes. Mhm. So the only difference we have in here is the sidewalk. So a new zone coming in, if they come in and ask for our residential estate, they would have to put a sidewalk, they would have to put the ribbon curb in. That's the only difference, sidewalk alone.
and you got some of them acre lot, acre and a half, 2 acre lots. My lot's 2 acre lot.
It is.
So it's,
But is anybody coming and rezone for 2 acre lots anymore?
but once they sell.
Oh, then they'd have to put it in.
Then it
Then you'd have
requires
to
all
put it
that
in.
because you're in the new zoning. That's the heartburn, that's the.
Now, we could put a clause in there that says you're grandfathered in and we don't require you to add the sidewalk.
Or could we just drop sidewalk?
Or we could drop sidewalk.
What if
But
we,
I don't like that in when they get down to half-acre ones.
Why not?
Because you're in a city and most people expect sidewalks.
Yeah, but just
We
from
get
a,
quite a few people that call and go, why aren't there sidewalks here?
Yeah, it's a safety issue. I'm on half acre. I prefer sidewalk. For all the kids, I prefer sidewalk.
you have sidewalks, right, you have sidewalks in your subdivision?
Yeah, we don't have curb.
We will completely eliminate the possibility of having large lots.
Inside
yeah,
the
we
city.
They won't be able to afford it, because you're gonna have to, you know, if you got
But he's
one,
doing
or
them
even,
now.
I'm just thinking of areas that are adjacent to the city, for example. Like maybe up on Vanderbilt's, or
Vandersloot. Yeah.
Vandersloot's.
Same thing, they're
Same
both
thing.
rich.
You know, his acreage up there. You know, if I could see maybe of wanting to develop, when you say estates, you know, estates, something that's, you know, a larger lot that they could, and that we'd eliminate that as a possibility in the city limits. Practically, we would eliminate it because of the cost.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Too? Oh, sorry, are you still talking? I'm so sorry.
you're
It's so
good.
hard when I can't see. Haven't we already had LIDs where we've required someone with a half-acre lot to put in sidewalk?
That I wouldn't know for sure, but probably.
Yeah, I'm sure we have.
I mean, I don't feel like this is new. We've already been requiring residents to do
Well,
it.
we
I know
did
some of
back-
those lots are bigger.
We did back off on those on 7th South because they were the 1 acre lots.
Yeah, I think this is part of a bigger problem that, you know, we're trying to look at right now, because as much as I hate LIDs, because I really do, but if we don't have sidewalk connectivity as our city expands, we're going to be shooting ourselves in the foot. Because how are we ever going to connect all our sidewalks if we, you know? So I think both sides of that, and we've already had residents with bigger lots, and we've required them to put in sidewalk. We've already done this.
I don't see a downturn just to leave R1 on there. Who cares if they don't apply for it? We're not losing nothing by leaving it there. We're not, I mean, what are we gaining to really take it off? Other than when you look at, when we start annexing these other neighborhoods out, further out, like out by Hibbard and out Quail Hollow, when you start those big neighborhoods, all of them, and then they're gonna fight being annexed because of some of this. And if we just leave it in there, it was really hurting that type of neighborhood.
Well, that's a possibility.
Is there a,
Well said.
is there a, maybe a standard to which we could determine when sidewalks are needed, like
That's why I say
maybe some
leave it
kind of
there,
a
it's not hurting.
traffic count number or something? Cause you get like some of these, I mean, like Quill Hollow or some of these subdivisions that are like a loop, or they're not really high traffic, you know, where, I mean, I don't know, sometimes I look at some of these, my daughter lives in Salt Lake, and she lives in a subdivision that there's not a lot of traffic, it's an older subdivision up there on the hill, and there's no sidewalks, and I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal, but, you know, I don't know, I just wonder if sometimes we are saying, well, it's a safety thing, but is it really? I mean, you know, when you've got these really low traffic areas that just don't have a whole lot of traffic through them. I don't know,
I mean,
I'm
when you
just
get down-
throwing
when you
that
get
out,
down
I'm
to
not
half-
necessarily advocating for it, I'm just
When you get
throwing
down
that
to
out.
half-acre lots, then you've got a certain density of people
Yeah,
that I think probably would require sidewalks.
yeah,
But when you get to a full acre lot or larger, it just doesn't make a lot of, I mean, then the density is so low that, you know, sidewalk is not, you know, it's not as big of a safety issue.
So can I ask you a question on that? Who's gonna
Just
build
fewer
on a
more.
lot more than an acre? 1 or 2 acres? What people are buying those
in town.
in town?
Especially within the city limits.
And nobody, obviously, 'cause we haven't zoned any to that.
And how many R2s have we done?
Well, you go back on, they're all filled up because of that.
Because
Because
nobody
there's nothing
wants to
there.
do another one. And Aaron, why's the reason nobody's doing our R2s? Market
And
for
that's,
it? Why?
to me, that's not
It's
true.
too expensive.
To me, that's not true here, because you go to Idle Falls, they have the bigger lots, you go to Napa, they have the bigger lots, it's just, you get the next
So-
generation up, you get 2 or 3 generations
So,
up.
so what's happening in our community?
Yeah.
What's happening in our community that they're not building in the city?
So,
Well, they're filled up what we have, so eventually it possibly will.
That's part of it, but what's the biggest reason?
They can go build outside the city in the county.
Hibbert, they go to Burton, they go to Archer, where they don't have to follow the rules, and the land's cheaper.
But I go back to what I said earlier, what is it, problem just leaving it there? It's not changing. We're not, we're really not doing anything different other than as we annex, it's definitely gonna influence when we bring in the Hibbert, or we bring in Paul, we bring in those other ones, it's definitely gonna cause a massive pushback.
Which if they don't wanna come in, great, stay out.
Well, that's not true,
I
because
know.
I was forced to annex in.
I know,
So,
some will be, some won't, you know,
even though.
and that's the risk we face. But this-
When I said it, I mean, it was a force annex, it wasn't
Right.
ass. It was, you're coming in, all of a sudden, then you're gonna require me to do all this other stuff because we changed the code?
not till
That's
you-
what I'm saying.
not
It's
till
not
you
a problem,
sell
just
your
leave
house,
it there.
yeah.
It's not hurting
The
nobody.
buyer would have to.
What?
You wouldn't have to. The buyer would have to.
No,
I was the one that was.
here's the
Is
thing
is
that happens.
Would it be the buyer that would have to put
Depends.
that in?
What
or the
we
seller?
say is, when that land comes up for sale, we tell the buyer, well, you have to put the sidewalk in. He's gonna go back to the seller and say, either lower the price or you
And,
put the
and,
sidewalk.
and the issue of curb and gutter in those established neighborhoods, you can't do that without redoing the road.
Curb, you can, if you're careful. They can come in and do a ribbon curb and just put it at the edge. They've done it before, but, so here's the challenge. Should we put curbs in our R1? Ribbon curb. Why do we put ribbon curb in? Does anybody know, Jim?
It stops the grass from growing into
Stops the grass from growing in, it stops those edges from crumbling.
crumbling.
So it's a protection for our roads.
So
Sally.
it,
Please don't
Oh.
ever put any ribbon curbing up on the hill anymore. Ask Keith.
Full curb. Full curb on the hill.
Not in front of me, it's ribbon and it runs.
I know. I says, we need a full curb. Then we need drains for it to go
I
into.
found out real quick how important that is.
Yeah.
They're coming in up
Oh.
there.
Yes,
so in RR1, there's no ribbon curb at all right now.
I believe it has, it does not? It has ribbon curb
It
now,
does require,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah.
hang on.
It just does not have
So it should-
sidewalks.
But we're not enforcing that if they sell their home, obviously.
When they come in and rebuild the road, the LID will put it in. Which then the citizen
Well,
pays
I-
for it.
Personally, I agree with Colin. I don't see any reason why we don't just leave it in. It gives an option, whether it's ever used or not, is, you know, it may never be used, but at least it's an option for somebody to, you know, that's got more money than sense to, you know, build 2-acre lots in the middle of the city. You know, it's an option.
Makes sense, you can build it.
But if it never gets used, why do we have it?
For these
Well,
annexations.
just
Well-
for that possibility.
Brianna, you had a question or a comment?
Oh, I was saying, I want to make sure I'm following because I can't, you know, some of I think I'm missing. But so are Colin and Eric saying just to leave those so that we wouldn't have to make the 1-acre lots put in sidewalk?
Correct.
No,
Yeah.
just leave it as an option.
Option.
Well, you're-
Yeah.
Future
No,
development.
that's what I agree with you because I think, I mean, like if we ever make people annex in and then we make them pay for that much sidewalk, it's just like those bills are going to be so huge. So I see a difference too between the 1/2 acre and the acre. Like I agree with what you were saying that those acre lots may not be in highly trafficked areas.
I say it doesn't hurt to leave it.
Okay. These are the reasons we bring it to you guys, because you're the ones who are going to make the decisions on it. You're also the ones who are gonna face the people when they come screaming and hollering at you for making them put a sidewalk in. So what I'm hearing from you is leave our R1 alone. Okay, let's move on to now, can we change the name to Residential Estate 1 and Residential Estate 2? We are no longer rural. we're not a rural country.
I don't care. if it's-
Okay.
How do you feel about a state?
Well, a state,
sounds
most
kinda
people, when you get to a larger one, they're looking at a state.
Okay.
And I searched the web and just says, what do you call larger lots in a city? And that was one that almost consistently
Was the state?
come up from different cities of what they call those.
I now live on an estate.
Right? Well, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
who's
thinking.
dumb enough to buy a half acre
At what
lot on a
point
corner?
do
So
we
I have to do
require
a full
sidewalks,
acre worth of
LDR?
R2.
LDR2?
R2 requires it,
R2,
yes,
okay, so that's a half acre?
half
Bad
acre.
enough in me, yeah.
Okay. Just-
No,
just
I'm the
trying to-
one that.
Well,
No,
the
it's
three
good to
of them,
ask.
yeah.
This is the time to ask if you're not sure, not quite sure.
Can I make a comment?
Quick one.
Can you grandfather in and make new required with sidewalk and curb and gutter?
So I like what Vince is saying, because the last time we met to do this, and we were talking about people and businesses downtown, I remember specifically asking, so when someone buys a new business, they don't have enough parking for their business, and that's when you said they're grandfathered in. So I think there's an idea there that could be a possibility. Yes? No?
It is, it could be. That would be something that you could say, let's take the RR1 out, but if you come into the city in 1 acre lots, you're grandfathered. As you come in, you're grandfathered that way.
Because we do that for our businesses.
We do.
Can
We do it in
not
a
do
lot
that
of
for
things.
our-
We do it in a lot of things. If you have a business established and it does not meet current code, I cannot force you to bring it up to code unless you spend more than 50% of the value of that property. So then you have to stay in it. Now, that's even with life safety. If you have a house that does not have egress windows in the basement and it's been built since 1940, I can't come in and make you put egress windows in.
Is that because of our code currently?
No, that's just state
Is it
law,
state law?
basically. I
Oh, is
can't-
it a state law?
I don't know if it's state law, but it is one of those things, we can't force you to come in.
Not a Soviet state.
Now,
Another argument, I guess, not argument, but,
comment.
like for example, we rezoned, Bruce Shirley's
Yes.
property, right there at the end of Moody Road,
Yes,
to a 5 or 6 1 acre lots, if I remember. 8 1 acre lots. It's in a little compact area. Asking them to put sidewalks in,
they have to anyways.
why?
They're LDR3, because you just rezoned it to LDR3 and it's going to townhomes.
Did we?
Yep.
Oh, okay, well,
Wait,
that
that
blows
was-
that argument.
Mark Diaz is on the end of Moody Road, Bruce and Max Shirley's property. Yeah, they rezoned it and went to 8, and then a guy come in and bought it, and he rezoned it to LDR3 so that he could put townhomes on that.
Oh,
So can I
Well,
say a
but-
couple
sure,
things?
it's
So
still the same.
I called Megan when we were doing I don't know her last name now. It's not coming to me. When we did the comprehensive plan and she came in when they came and helped us from
Megan
Colorado.
Moore.
Megan Moore. And I asked her what our goal was again, like remind me what the goal is for a city and what a city needs to look like. And one of her comments was the sidewalks need to be interconnected from neighborhood to neighborhood, hoping people will either ride their bikes or walk the sidewalk instead of using the road as an option. And so sidewalks are necessary when we live in a city. So just keeping that part in mind, because then that could save our roads a little bit if people are able to walk to, if they have a place to go buy their groceries or whatever, they have the option of walking in a safe way like that. So just something about sidewalks, just to keep in mind. So I understand neighborhoods and things, but this is something to keep in mind for, there need to be that trail sidewalk situation throughout a city. That's part of an element of a city that is a good working city, is what she told me. So that one thing. Another thing you had asked, well, nobody's buying the RR2 or want the lots that big or whatever, R1s, whatever. In Rexburg, and I looked it up just a few weeks ago, in Rexburg, I checked the census, we have in our single family dwelling homes, that's the only thing I looked at, was that in the census, 25% are homeowner occupied, 75% of them are rented.
Rentals.
So if I looked anywhere, other places, Pocatello, Idaho Falls, I looked other places, it was flipped. So we're backwards on stability as far as homeowners occupying their homes. So when you ask, why aren't we getting that? It's because we're renting out everything that we're building.
To college students.
And it could be to college students, it could be
Majority of it
to
is.
other people, but
Yeah.
if we're 75%, 25%, that's a huge difference. And so for stability in a community, what do we need to have in the community? So again, I asked Megan about that, and she said in each little pocket within a 1 mile radius, it's good to have all of the different zones in it, so that if someone wanted to move to that zone, they could move from house to house and stay in the same neighborhood if they wanted to.
Summerfield's a prime example.
So Summerfield would be an example of
Your
that.
townhome to twin homes to full-sized homes and larger full-sized homes.
With the exception of, there's not an LDR one necessarily.
It's all
in
LDR 2 and
that.
3.
Yes.
But it
So,
allows all forms of single-family residences.
yes, it does. So I think that's why nobody's asking for that too, is because it's not being built. Developers who come in aren't wanting to build or sell land so people can build like that.
Developers build to the demand.
So,
So
and,
that's what
and,
drives them
and
to
where
do
the
anything.
pencil makes
It's
sense,
gotta pencil out.
right?
Some of you were involved, not everybody, in the rezone up in Hidden Valley above where Jim lives. They went to LDR 2, they were granted that, they went and ran their numbers, and they walked away from the project. They says, we can't make it pencil.
Yeah,
They
'cause
couldn't.
if you're gonna develop 1 acre lots, it's punitive to build them in the city.
Yes,
You're just gonna go and do it in the county.
yes.
There's no reason to spend all that money extending water, sewer, and storm when you can do well septic.
And that's the reason why we're not building 1 acre lots in the city,
It's
because
just-
of that.
It's
It
flat
doesn't
out the
pencil.
cost.
Yeah, it's the cost. So that's the reason. It's not because people don't want it, because I do believe that people want to have space for whatever stage their family is in at the time. They want to be able to move from stage to stage, and then they may land back where they started in a starter home. That's one level where we don't have stairs.
Yeah.
But that's the reason. So it's not because people don't want it, but it's because that's what pencil won't give us.
They don't want it within the city
Are you arguing for
sidewalks.
sidewalks in RR1?
Not
Or
necessarily.
doing away with RR1, or what are you arguing?
Oh, I am just giving information, for one.
Okay.
Just giving information, and then for two, I really like the idea that Vince stated, if we can put a grandfather clause in this spot for these people, maybe they've lived there for forever or whatever, and then this could be an option. But then also we need to remember that, I mean, I'm looking at right across from us at Willowbrook, we've got the big field right there behind Summerfield to the south. It would really be nice for there to be a sidewalk along that whole thing so the kids could actually walk to school. Right now, there's not a sidewalk for them to walk to school, so it's not safe, especially on that
If they come in and
road.
zone that as RR1, you would not get a sidewalk.
So that's the thing, is if that front became an RR1 that someone wanted it for that, which they don't because it doesn't pencil, it most likely won't be that. But if it became that and there's a safety, then I think we need to start looking at sidewalks when we're looking at roads where children are walking.
So let's look at, give me just a second, Bill.
No problem, go ahead.
If you look at Pine Brook, Pine Brook's sitting on the edge of our city. Now, there's some development around it that's outside in the county and everything else. Future is there's plans for that to develop. Aaron's working to the west. There's stuff happening that way. There's stuff to the northwest that's being discussed. These are all properties that are looking at coming in. Before long, Pine Brook is gonna be in the center of a large city. Because as Hibbert's growing out, you have 2 developments going to the north that have, one's been approved, the other one's in front of P&Z for the county. They're going in at 1 or less acres. Some of them are coming in at 3/4 of an acre and the county's allowing them to do it. Eventually, that
The
Pine Brook,
septic tanks?
what's that?
The septic tanks in 3/4 of an
Yes.
acre?
So say
Copper
DEQ?
Heights is that
Copper
way.
Heights has
They let them
DEQ
count,
let them do it?
they let them
Health-
count the
Health department will
roads.
let them do that?
They let them count the
That's what I
roads
wanna know.
in their acreage.
Oh, is that how they get it?
That's how they got away with it. We don't allow that. And so what I'm trying to get at is eventually there's going to be people on the north side of Pine Brook walking through Pine Brook to go to the golf course or to visit friends and everything else. It's not gonna stay this enclave all by itself in a county.
Yeah, but I wonder,
But they're also-
they,
they're also small
if they're walking, like you're saying, from north of to the golf course or down towards Mother Hibbard's or whatever, they're walking along 12th West, and so I agree, I think we need to have a good sidewalk system for walking along the main roads, for biking, things like that. But I guess I'm not a total convert to the fact that we need sidewalks in the subdivisions where it's just very low traffic.
I agree with that.
I mean, I don't know, I like the looks of them, but I don't know if it's necessary.
But, Castle, was it Castle Pine Road out next to 20 in your subdivision?
Oh,
That's designed to connect to the north.
yeah,
So you're gonna have people driving through there and it's going to become
oh,
a traffic zone. And you're gonna have more people coming through.
yeah, a little bit, I don't know, I think.
It depends on what they
I
build
think
there.
people will still
Internal
drive on
circulation.
12th West.
They may, if the Moody overpass goes in, they may just bounce over. But you are gonna have more people driving in that way. And I'm not arguing for or against, I'm just trying to explain the
Yeah,
reasons
and
why.
actually, I'm not either. I'm just kind of trying to think through it and go, because it's true. The sidewalk requirement is a deterrent. It's a lot of money. In fact, I'm amazed at how much sidewalks cost. It doesn't seem like they should.
It's horrendous. They shouldn't, because concrete's way
costing you
overpriced.
$150
a yard.
I know, it's just crazy. We need to invent a new kind of concrete.
Alicia?
I'm neutral on all of it, but what the mayor just said just made me think about the costs are only gonna go up for sidewalk, right? Like, it's only gonna
Possibly.
get more expensive, so
Unless you
if
get a
we,
crash in
if
the
we
market.
don't require that when they're changing or when they're selling their homes or something, then we're never gonna have that connectivity. And we gotta think long-term almost. We gotta think 10 years from now versus what's gonna give them some heartburn right now, but 10 years from now, that's what we keep getting from the citizens is we're not thinking ahead. So that's just something to keep in mind too, is that we might need to think ahead and what are the costs gonna be 10 years from now when we're doing an LID out there? Is it gonna be even more expensive than it would be for them to sell their house? I'm
Yep,
just,
I
I'm
guess
not,
what I'm
just a
trying to
thought.
think through is, I totally agree that we need sidewalks in, the high traffic areas, the 7th South, the 12th West, all of those areas where they're kind of main connector roads. But do we really need them within the subdivisions where they don't really, I mean, they're just loops, to get out to 12th West or things like that. I don't know,
I would argue that you never know when a road's gonna become a main artery.
Well,
Like, because
you can look at a lot
where
of
I
things.
live on Second North and K Street, and people use that all the time to get around Main Street. And it's become we have traffic all the time. And it used to be very quiet, and now it's getting really busy over there. And that's only been the last 2 or 3 years.
That's almost a dead end.
Yeah, and it's almost a dead end, and it just,
Well, not
And we
really,
didn't
I
have
mean,
sidewalks, but-
I know exactly what, cause
Anyways.
I do that, I go past your house, past the
Right?
church. Go out
To
to
cut
Main
through.
Street.
That's where your problem is.
My wife and about 20 others.
Getting back to the question at hand.
Mhm.
I feel like the density makes a difference.
Okay.
So when we get to half acre lots, I totally agree. I think, and it's more expensive in a half acre lot than a quarter acre lot first. But it's twice that to go to a 1 acre lot, twice the half acre. So all I'm saying is, I would agree that we keep
leave it there.
our R1 in as an option. And then, but then require the sidewalks and everything else.
And they're already required and everything else.
Right. Yeah, so that would be my suggestion.
Any more thoughts on that?
I would want to make a decision based on a desire to have 100% connectivity. I'm with the mayor on this. Safety, yeah, but some need to connect every single neighborhood to every other single neighborhood. To me, that's not our role.
Yes, it is your role.
I think you have to, you gotta,
responsible to pay for it.
you gotta look at our city and you gotta, the fact of the matter is, we're a university community. We're gonna be, I don't care what you say, that's what we'll always be, a university community.
The day the university goes away, our city goes
So you have to look at it and you gotta draw these circles and you gotta say, okay, within this, everything has to be sidewalks. It's gotta be connected. You gotta be able to get kids from here to there. They don't have cars, of course, everybody brings their car. But, but again, you're giving them the option, right? Then you have a second setup, then you step out a little further, and now you go where you've got some people that are going to go out and buy a half-acre lot or whatever. Do we or do we not need the sidewalks there? And then you go out further, and when you're outside of, when you're outside of the community where everybody's walking, literally walking, where she was saying you're walking to the store, you're walking to the library, you're walking whatever, you need sidewalks. But if somebody decides, and I when you said nobody's doing that, well, of course not. When an acre's costing you $1 million, you're not going to put one house on it. You're just not. So.
Well.
Well, yeah.
There's a few.
Oh, no, I understand.
Because I know 3 of them right now, they're exceeding 3 or 4
I
meters.
understand.
Yeah.
But still, I think you have to, I agree with some of the statements that have been made here is when you get out far enough to where when you think about a community with half-acre lots, here's the thing. Just go out to Hibbard and watch. Are any kids walking to school? The answer is no. Parents are all driving them to school.
Well,
Every single
They're
kid.
doing that within the city.
Right? So you go, I think we're not in New York, we're not in San Diego, we're in Rexburg, and we gotta think about that our makeup and say, okay, what's gonna be best for our community? But if you're even in your neighborhood, which I love your neighborhood and doesn't have sidewalks, I wouldn't make you guys put sidewalks in out there.
It does.
Too late, we got some.
Oh, does it?
Well, part of it does, part of it
The
was.
original part
Yeah, the
doesn't.
original part does not.
Because it's our R1.
And then the newer part does, and that's kind of part of my thought process is, as we walk around the neighborhood, most people don't walk on the sidewalks, they just walk in the street.
Okay, we're getting short on time, let's do this. All in favor of leaving our R1 in and no sidewalks, change the name to Residential Estate 1, raise your hands. Okay, stays in. Majority. Okay. We're gonna, then R2, we will just change it to Residential Estate 2. Okay, so that's what's happening. Now, you'll notice one thing, at the head of each one of these, we've run into challenges of people not knowing what their comprehensive plan designation is. So we're gonna put it at the heading of each one of those, which comprehensive plan zone you're in. So that's why that's in there. And we've done it on every single, we wanna do it on every single zone.
Bold that.
Well, it'll stand out, and that'll be the first thing you see under RR1. Okay, you're in comprehensive plan, low residential. So we can track that. So that's why that's there. Okay, so that takes care of RR1 and RR2. Let's bounce to LDR1. Whichever one we have coming up next. Where's LDR1?
Right there.
Right there. Go back. Yeah, this is it. Okay, scroll down.
Yeah.
Right there.
Okay, we cleaned up the purpose and we made it fit a little better. So this is just Katie's ability to write better than I can. It just cleans up the language. It doesn't change any code. It doesn't change anything other than here's why we have this zone. And we've done that on a couple of them. Again, you have the comprehensive plan designation showing. This is an LDR2, same thing. We just rewrote that one. Again, when we bring this to you again, you'll be able to look at the changes you guys have made tonight. So scroll down a little more.
Alan?
Yes.
Can you just scroll back up for just a second?
Sure.
When we use the term large lot, medium-sized lot, who defines what that means? What's what's
The minimum lot size.
That's just a general
It's
description. and then
General
later
description.
so there is a definition.
Down below, it
Okay.
will say, here's the
Yeah.
exact minimum you
Okay,
have.
just wanna make sure.
Yes.
There's a if there's no definition, then it'll.
Yeah, there is a
So,
definition.
Alan, did the legislature pass that where we have to allow duplexes and
Hasn't gone through yet.
it hasn't gone through
It's
yet?
kinda stalled out.
I don't think, no, it's back in front of them yesterday.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
It stalled out the day before.
It's stalled and they brought it forward. So it hasn't died completely, it's back where they're looking at it again. And here's the challenge, if that legislation goes through,
We're-
you guys lose all power to do anything.
Yeah, we're doing
I mean, literally,
We'll be doing this again.
any zone can take it to the maximum
We can't do
density
nothing
you
about it.
allow in this
They
city.
changed our whole city.
Oh, so there's no zoning.
Yeah, exactly.
It's from
Well,
the
not
state,
quite.
the
That's
state,
from the state.
state takes
Yeah,
care
but
of
it-
decides.
There's no differentiation between LDR 1 or 2.
From tag all the way
Maybe
to
even
HDR2. You lose all ability to do it, to make any designations on size. You can't regulate the parking other than one per unit. Oh yeah, it's ugly,
So why are we doing
Who's
this?
the sponsor on that?
because I'm
We don't
hoping
have
it'll
to
fail.
sponsor. Good question.
We're hoping.
Okay, let's scroll
I
through.
thought it
What's
died,
the,
so-
what's driving it?
So-
Different people, well, go back to
Sorry,
that
are we gonna
one.
discuss the LDR 3?
Yeah, I said go back.
Comprehensive plan designations?
Yeah, it should have it in there. Go back down. Okay, LDR3, this is the one we need to discuss. We're proposing that you take it down into the low residential. Here's the thing you need to look at. Low residential is something that is designated for single-family residences, okay? Definition of single-family residences are single-family detached, single-family attached to, and then single-family detached, or attached to or more. So that takes in single-family homes, takes in twin homes, duplexes, and townhouses. Those are all, by the building code, single-family residences. Okay? So that's why we looked at putting this down into that same area where you're keeping the single-family stuff separate from apartment complexes and high-density apartment complexes. And then it makes it fit where you can go. And I'll bring up Summerfield as a prime example. You have townhomes, you have twin homes, and you have single-family homes in that deal. I think it works well out there the way they have it set up, but it's all single-family. Now, some of them are a lot more mobile, townhomes. You have people moving in and out a lot more often. But again, that's the starter home we want our kids to start in. Start in this, start gaining some equity, and be able to move into a twin home or move into a single-family home. And that's the reason why we think it fits better in there. Then keep your medium density in that intermediate where we've only got the 16 to 20 units, but those are apartment complexes. And they have to build them to apartment complex standards. So it's a whole different set of plans. High density, we're looking at HDR1, HDR2, and mixed use. So now you're getting into those 30 to 42 units. That fits your high density. We want to be able to separate those areas and make sure we're not encroaching in some of these areas where we don't want it to.
What's the density of
Yeah,
LDR
that's
3?
LDR3 is 10.
10 per acre.
10 per acre.
10 per acre.
I want Brianna to tell us again. Brianna, why did you guys change that? Or what was the problem with the LDR3?
Well, and first of all, I want to say I live in Summerfield, so I actually enjoy having all types in our neighborhood. I agree with that. I think it works out really well. But the problem was what we were seeing was people would come in and say that their proposal fit within the comprehensive plan, but it was all trending towards townhomes because, developers are going to typically try to get the biggest bang for their buck. And so we have no way to make sure that we have unattached housing, because then they can put the townhouses, it fits in the comp plan. Anywhere you have low density in your comp plan, you can have the townhomes. So you run the risk of having townhomes and no unattached housing, but people in this community have to have unattached housing too. And then I recognize the state might just blow all this up and it's not going to matter anyway. But we tried it, and there's problems on either side, I think. So that my point was, it's not gonna fix everything. If you want to stick it back down in low density, you're gonna have a different set of problems.
Well, I agree with you on a lot of that. But there's one factor that comes into play. No matter what that comprehensive plan designation is, city council and P and Z still has the authority to say townhomes does not work in this zone. We have all LDR 1 or 2, and the prime example is what you did on Fifth West, where you turned down the change. You just says, it doesn't fit here. These are single-family homes. Why would we come in and allow townhomes? You still have that authority. You don't have to give it to them simply because the comp plan says so. You gotta have a good reason for saying no, but you do have that power to say no.
Right, it's just harder. When it fits with the comp plan, it's a lot harder.
It is harder, but you have the reverse of that to where if we keep it up in the other one, they may just automatically go to a higher density and we lose some of that townhouse ability. It's one of those, we have the power to drive where that city goes just in the choices you guys make and what you allow.
Can we put anything in there, sorry.
It's okay.
Can we put anything in there that they have to do a split like Summerfield? Because I can see them come in on LDR 3 and go the whole thing, all LDR, and we can't do nothing about that.
Yes, you can say no.
With what reason?
Well, if it doesn't fit,
Legally.
if it does not fit
Yeah.
the location of, let's say they come and want to drop an LDR 3 in the middle of all LDR 1. That's spot zoning. And you can say, because of spot zoning, we don't feel this fits in the community where we have a lot of single-family unattached homes. This would maybe work better over
And
here.
I'll bring up instance, the Birch property.
Yes,
They come in right now, if this would have been zoned right now down to this, that
you could have
developer,
still said no.
that developer could have put LDR 3 in all that whole thing
Yes,
and
he
have
could have.
no detached houses.
But you still have the.
Yeah, and it would have been harder for us to tell them no. So, and then whenever you have, I can just see zone changes. They'll say this fits within our comprehensive plan. We're gonna change the zone to LDR 3, and we'll lose our LDR 1 and our LDR 2
No,
because
you're-
it's
Okay, but you gotta come back and look at it. LDR 1, 2, and 3 comes back to demand. If nobody's buying LDR 1 or 2, and they are now, I know they're doing that, but if all of a sudden everybody's gone, we're priced out of the market and the only thing we can afford is townhomes, they're gonna build to that standard. That's what the developer's going to try to do. So if there's still a demand for LDR 1 or 2, they're still gonna sell. It's a quandary, I agree.
Yeah, it's kind of.
But I think it's more dangerous in the intermediate than it is in the other one.
And why do you say it's more dangerous in intermediate?
Because then you're starting to mix LDR 3 into multifamily. So now I'm trying to put a single-family townhome in a whole bunch of apartment complexes.
But that's one of the thing was step down, step up that we discussed in the comprehensive plan, that fit.
Which you can do in the low one with the LDR 3 in there. You can do that.
I haven't seen that happening. Has that been happening where the townhouses are getting pushed to the apartment complexes like you're
Birch
saying?
property, for the Birch property was to do a mix of different types of housing, which I think is kind of like what you were talking about, Tammy, that having that mix of housing so that, like Alan said, if someone likes a neighborhood, they can start out in a townhome, maybe after 5 or 10 years, they build up enough equity, they can buy a single-family home in the same neighborhood. So, I mean, that's one of the advantages that way, and that's kind of what they proposed at first, was to have a mix in there.
Well, and when you start looking at it, and this is one of the other issues for another discussion, PUDs. In our PUD, I can come in here and go, I want anything from LDR 1 all the way up to MDR 2 in this PUD, and I'm gonna mix apartment complexes, I'm gonna mix townhomes and single-family homes or duplexes, and I can put it all in one community. That's what Summerfield is, only they only went to LDR 3 as their high end. That's a PUD. And so that's how they.
But they have to have green space. They have to have the green space though, and that makes a big difference.
Green space only comes into play if they ask for higher densities. If they don't ask for the higher densities, then they just have to have the standard. But most of them want higher densities. They want to put more homes in. The other side of it is they may want to shrink the footprint of the different lots so that then they'll put a big park in there with smaller ones in. So changing some of the setbacks and the rules that way is part of a PUD. But if they come in and build it to standards, then they don't have to change anything. It's just we want to combine, we want these type of communities. Summerfield did make changes. They did the green space. They did reduce lot sizes. And that was one thing. And they have to do a bunch of things to meet that requirement.
Alan, say what the PUD, 'cause it's spelled-
Planned unit development.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can mix zoning in the same place.
You can mix LDR one, LDR two, LDR three, medium density one and medium density two. You cannot bring in high density, you can't bring in tag or mixed use. None of those can come into.
And that has to come before.
It comes in front of
Okay,
city
so there's no
council.
zoning for that, that would have to come
It comes
before
in
us
front of
to
you.
approve something.
They have a spreadsheet that they have to go through, and they have to gain certain points if they're gonna ask for reduced setbacks or increased density. And they have to meet certain standards, and that comes in front of you. You get to look at it and say, yes, you meet them. Better quality insulation, more green space, better landscaping, parks, features that are common throughout that come in and make it. And there's 5 different areas. They have to hit at least one in every single one of those and score 100 points to be able to get that.
Alan,
Eric,
if I,
and then I'll get you around.
I would, I'm fine with moving the LDR three into, for one reason. The zone is low density residential 3.
And that's confusing.
If we were
a
to
lot of
keep
people.
it in the medium density, we need to change it to a medium density or whatever.
You put it as 1 and change the other to 2 and 3.
There's confusion there that doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
And I personally think it would be fine, we can manage it in the low density residential, because it is, the differential there is single family
Yes.
units rather than multiple family.
And that was our reasons for pushing it down,
And so
is we're keeping that
it
single
makes sense
family
that way.
together.
The way it was before, though, it was very confusing.
Yes,
We run into
to the public and to us.
Yeah.
So at this point, all in favor of moving it down to the low?
I'm not a child. I changed name.
Okay.
I don't like the
If
name.
I have a medium density comprehensive plan and I wanna come in, I'm a developer, I wanna do an LDR 3 because I wanna build townhomes in that comprehensive plan zone, does that require a comprehensive plan change?
Yes,
Then what is the problem then with allowing LDR 3 in both intermediate and medium density?
then you don't need a comprehensive plan.
No, I don't agree with that.
If you're gonna let it float
Because
between different ones,
I'm asking one zone, I'm saying, why can't one zone be acceptable in both comprehensive? Because it really, it's sort of like my 12-year-old can play with the teenagers and with the kids. And like, some things go with both, or like tall people, 5'9" person can play basketball with a 6-foot person and a 5'6" person.
you can.
So, but this LDR 3, to me, fits with medium density fine, it blends in fine, and it also blends in my opinion, with twin homes and LDR 2.
I'm okay with that,
So that to me says, if LDR 3,
but
I
it
would
does
not want
fuzz
to
the
have.
lines.
Well, it blurs that line, it blurs the line, and I think in a useful way. And now some people aren't comfortable with ambiguity and they want black and white, this or that. I'm comfortable with an ambiguity that allows developers to say, I don't have to ask for comprehensive plan change to do townhomes in MDR next to my medium.
There's really no disadvantage to that.
I don't see one.
Yeah,
I don't understand why.
I agree, I think that's a
Why it
great
wouldn't be in
solution.
both, if we're gonna put it in LDR or in low
Low
residential,
residential.
then leave it in medium as
Why not
well.
be able to put it in medium?
Because
So,
then you don't have to do a comp plan change when someone wants to do it in another place. And that might-
Okay.
so I guess when someone comes in and says, I wanna make, and it's in let me think about this, how I'm
Low
gonna say it.
residential.
Well, I'm trying to think, if they come in and they say they need to change, here's something that's been a problem for me. When someone comes in and says, I wanna change it to MDR1, to me, I think, what is the highest density they can put in that? Am I okay with that? If I'm okay with that, I'll say yes. If I'm not, I won't say yes. And so what would happen to that if someone says, I want it to be an MDR1? What would happen?
In a medium density?
Yeah, so I want it to be, so this is an MDR1, what would happen if we had it floating back and forth?
No.
No,
Would that
LDR,
be-
You're
LDR 3 is the only thing that he's
You're
saying,
misunderstanding my.
to have the LDR 3 in the low residential
So-
and the medium.
So,
So LDR 3
okay,
change
so
does
give
not.
me a scenario.
Okay, so LDR 3 does not change in its density. It's always 10 units
Yes,
per acre.
Okay,
I'm just saying that if you have it allowed in both comprehensive plans, medium and low, then if a developer wants townhomes in.
Here's maybe an easy way for it, Randall. Think of the Birch property.
Got it?
They asked for the LDR3 on
Yep.
that back
Well, the
piece.
birch property is what triggered my
And-
thought of
yes.
my suggestion.
Because it's low residential and we weren't allowing them to change the comp plan, it was not allowed to go in there.
Exactly.
What he's saying is if it's allowed in low residential and in medium, then we could decide to let the LDR3 go in there
Yeah.
without having to change the comp plan.
Personally, I think it's.
So what would the comp plan say?
It would stay the same.
Comprehensive.
But it would, in the zone, it would say you are allowed this in both low residential and in medium residential. So it would be used in both.
But the
LDR3 could be used
comp
in both.
plan says LDR3 as part of the plan, right? Isn't it its own?
It's part, not, a
Or is it all LDR?
Not,
Comp plan doesn't.
comp
I-
plan isn't zones, it's just districts.
What's the district for this?
It's-
LDR?
This one right now is intermediate. So
Okay,
it's
intermediate and low residential.
correct. It doesn't go into low now, it's only in intermediate.
Okay,
I propose putting it into low, Randall's proposing put it in both of them.
I think it's actually
Makes sense.
brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's
Because
a
it's,
great idea.
because it's what we're, it's what we really want, actually.
Correct.
Right, and so it's, so they wanna go in, it just makes sense, just this one goes either way,
Correct.
right, either way.
It's the buffer in between the two.
Yeah, that's, I like that.
Yeah, it's a
To-
buffer.
To me, that makes more sense.
It's a
It's harder to
transition.
go down to low density. That's why I have heartburn a little bit taking this down to low density.
Yeah,
Because you're forcing that down to more on that 1 acre lot into low density. I have a harder time that way than doing
Yeah.
both. I think it's smart to do both, but to me, that's what, it's the other way around than what Tammy said, it's
yes,
going the other
I'm,
way.
yeah, which way?
So what I'm
That's a
hearing,
hard,
Yes
that's hard
to.
to me.
so what I'm hearing is now we pretty well got a consensus that put it in both.
And if
I think
that's
it's
legal,
great.
then.
Let's do that and let's move on. I'm trying to give you guys a 5-10 minute break before you have to go into city council. Before we do that. In some of these now, we currently have in some of the low densities, 70% can be covered, 30% has to be landscaped. One of the challenges we're running into as a city, as a state, and as a nation, the availability of water. Forcing people to go clear up to 30% landscaping. Now, that doesn't mean they have to plant trees and grass, they can't do xeriscape. We're looking at it and going, we want to reduce that down and go 80-20. That's what our medium density currently is. We want to be able to put that same thing in force. We're also running into areas where we have cul-de-sacs, where it's almost impossible for them to get that 70-30, because you have the front yard that's all concrete, which will bring another point up we'll talk about is currently right now, only 40% of your front yard can be covered with concrete. It's not working. We are constantly running into problems. We want to take that to a 50-50. So 50% of it can be concrete or asphalt. The other 50 has to be pervious, water to be able to penetrate. That's the changes we're proposing in these two. And along with it in LDR3, if they're going to build townhomes, in MDR 1 and 2, if you put the parking in back of the townhome, we'll let you move that setback up to 15 feet from property line rather than 20. We're trying to find a way to encourage townhomes to put the parking in the back. So they're not lining them out and pulling off of the street. So that's what that proposal is if you'll park in the back, we'll let you move it 5 feet closer to the street. So those are the three changes in there that you will see beyond which comp plan.
You have building coverage at 80%,
Yes,
impervious,
20.
Cement can't be more than 50%. My concern is why, and at least 20%, there's a gap in there of 10% that I worry, what are you gonna put in? I just worry that somebody's gonna figure, well, I'll just let that go to weed or whatever, I don't know.
What do you mean by gap?
Well, if you
80,
max
20,
up, if you max the
100%.
building coverage at 80%, you max the impervious at 50%, and
No.
landscaping
No,
at
no,
20.
you have to look at it different. The 80-20 is the overall lot.
Oh, 50% of just
The
a front
50%
yard.
is just the front yard can be in concrete.
Well, I'm just thinking, let's limit the impervious to the total building coverage, and then the rest has gotta be in landscaping.
Yeah, but we run into a problem, we don't want all of our front yards to be concrete jungles. we would like some landscaping there. It just makes the city prettier. So by limiting them on how much concrete they can put out there, they're gonna have to do some kind of landscaping, even if it's xeriscape.
Yeah.
Xeriscape's
saying.
no plants, life, anything. It's just basically rocks, trees, not even trees. You just do decorative stuff. Mayor knows all
Well,
that stuff.
that's not really what it means. That means you're using at the least amount of water.
Least
possible.
amount. There is one term that is no water, and I've got a couple of people in Summerfield that have done that. Their front yard is strictly rocks. And it's different types and styles, and they've got deals through it. But that's what we're proposing, Eric. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds to me like you could just make, like, you know, the rest of the yard has to be landscaped. If it's not building and it's not impervious surface, it has to be landscaped.
So going back to
You
this
know,
idea of
figure out how to make that work.
I'm wondering
It
at
does.
what point, with water becoming an issue all over the West, and especially here, at what point will we as a city start to say, we really want to encourage, promote xeriscaping in terms of using native plants and more of this? I mean, I go down to Arizona and I see what
All of
the
it they
yards
do.
are like. I mean, all
And
the
I
desert.
think there's even something a step above that, Randall, as we come in here and not just go to xeriscape, drip irrigation for trees and shrubs and flower beds, rather than rainbirds that waste a lot of water. Most of it evaporates if they're sprinkling during the day. There are many things, and Mayor's a lot more up on this than me, that we could reduce our amount of water. Our highest usage is what, July, August for a city? And it's because of, yeah, and it's strictly because that's when
All of those
everybody's
things
watering.
fall under landscaping, all right? They all fall under landscaping.
Yes, they do. But those are good things that we can start as a city to encourage. And Aaron, he has a project out here he's doing, and he's working up a deal where he's coming in and looking at this low impact, as minimal amount of water as possible, using special irrigation systems and xeriscaping and anything he can to reduce the amount of water that it requires to water that yard. So, are you okay with that then? What do we have in this part? Okay, let's scroll farther. MDR1. Again, we just cleaned up some of it. Now realize MDR 1 and 2 still allow townhomes. That is still out, even in HDRs, is still allowed as townhomes, because you can get some pretty high densities with townhomes in that situation. But no single family is allowed, single family detached or duplexed. Only 3 attached and more can go in those higher zones.
Since that's the gateway to home ownership, it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and there's some good mixes out there of townhomes in apartments, because they can move from the apartment to the
Right, it's the
town.
town.
Okay, keep scrolling. Again, this is medium density, same thing. We did bring the 50% in those. HDR
There
one,
weren't any, just changing the description, I think was all that was.
yeah. And HDR two, getting that in there, cleaning it up. Now, tag is one I want to have a discussion with right now.
Really quick back on, we didn't change no parking.
No.
On at all.
No.
Okay.
The only parking we've done is just determine lots or parking sizes, but we haven't changed any lowering amounts or increasing amounts, any of that type of stuff. Thank you, Randall.
Yeah, sorry, gotta run the
Yeah.
rehearsal.
In
Yep.
tag, I want to cover this one quick. Tag currently right now, it's 1 acre, 1 house. And we don't care anything in that. What's happening is most of our tag is in our impact area. And so what we felt was a good option is to come in and say, if you're in tag and you want to start developing, okay, it's 5 acres. So I have a 40-acre piece and I come in there, I'm either going to have to break it into 5-acre lots, or if you set the other 35 acres aside, I'll let you shrink those down to 1-acre lots and you can develop in the corner. That in the future, then it can develop that next one. It doesn't scatter out so much that it becomes very difficult in the past. And this falls back to water again too, because now I got 5 acres, it turns into a weed patch because nobody has the water or the time or the desire to mow 5 acres of weeds. So they still can develop in there, they can still build, and as they need, they can move up. All of a sudden, they've done the 5 acres and they're going,
Could we
Scroll up a little bit.
And read the rest of that.
oh, go back down. Oh, is it
There we
right
go,
there?
Right there.
Yeah, if you do like 8 1-acre lots, then you would have to set the other 32 aside. As soon as you rezone, if you went to an LDR 1, 2, or RR 1 or 2, then you could go to that one and finish developing the rest of it. It just holds it, because tags should be a holding point until they're ready to come into the city and develop. Is that okay with you guys? Okay.
I hate the word restricted. I mean, I just.
You have to
Tell the guy he's
some,
gotta put 32 acres. He can't put anything on it.
until he rezones.
Yeah, I guess.
So right now, just to get my brain wrapped around this, right now, they can do it at 1 acre?
1 acre a lot.
And so what's the problem? Is it just that we've got a lot of these big lots around, and then as we're pushing out, we can't
The
build
problem,
additional stuff there?
the problem we run into is they have those big ones, they'll actually split it into 5 acre lots.
Okay.
And so now we have these huge lots that people can't build on. Now, if they wanna do 5 and they wanna do it that way, great. But if they wanna bring that down and maximize the value of their property, cluster those down, put them in a spot, and then just restrict the rest of it until you rezone, so then you can develop the rest
So
of it.
this is an incentive not to
It's an
do that, but
incentive.
it's not stopping them from
No.
still doing
Then
5
they-
acre lots if they want.
Yes,
So
again,
that's
we're
another-
talking minimums.
That's another good argument for RR1. If you're gonna allow 1 acre lots,
Oh, you need a category.
you gotta have a category to
Yeah.
put them in,
That's good.
and RR1 fits that.
Fits the category.
So are we good with this one? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's scroll through. I don't think there's much left. I think that would just remove an RBD. Yeah, this is to remove that residential business district. Are you guys okay with that? And we
Well-
would just ask to rezone it to mixed use.
Yeah, but we've run into some trouble with mixed use
In
because,
what way?
well, look at Horner's Corner. It's mixed use requirement and
That's form-based.
nobody can make it work.
That's form-based. They have to go 4 stories.
Yeah, it's under
On the curve.
It's form-based.
It's
That's
in
form-based.
form-based.
Right behind Roland's.
But you're right, I mean, we're on our
Oh.
10th iteration, we're looking at townhomes.
But you're
right
dealing
now.
with form-based versus Euclidean. This is the rest of the city taking out the 12.
Yeah, but over there wasn't part of the problem there. Oh, it's form-based, so you could put, so you don't have to have a business in there, it could
Yeah,
just be
you
all
could-
residential,
You
right?
could do residential because there's a townhouse category.
Yeah.
So this is outside of the form-based code. And so, and we have mixed use, which will do the same thing. You can still come in there and do the
I
business.
guess I
and the
just get
housing
worried about
together.
sometimes that kills projects because it'll work one way, but it doesn't work when we're requiring both
So
things.
here's what happened with this one from what Stephen told me. He says this was developed and they had multiple spots within the city and they found out it wasn't working and it was just a pain. So they rezoned everything, but they forgot to change these 2. And that was why those ended up staying.
Which two?
The ones, Fulmer's old office.
Oh, those,
and the
yeah,
ones
those up
next to
there.
it. That's
Those
the
are
only
hospital.
2 lots in the whole city.
Yeah,
And so we have a whole section in the code for 2 lots.
all right.
So, and we would just come in and propose moving it to mixed use. So then they can continue to do what they're doing, nothing changes. And again, they're grandfathered in that way anyways.
All right.
Okay, so we'll leave that one. That's just removing all of the language for RBD.
Alan, let's close up and get the adjournment.
Let's call it there. We may have to reschedule and think. Let's do this. If you guys will look through the rest of this code and then send us comments, let's see if we can get a consensus on any of the other changes.
We end on, there's 76 pages, so yeah.
You're on 53.
53,
So
okay.
2/3 the way. This didn't cover the other things.
No, it didn't.
This is just.
There's also 2 other sections,
Do you want us to comment on the other sections
Everything.
as well?
unless you want to have another meeting like this. But you're going into budget meetings in the next month?
I don't mind having another meeting. Yeah. It's good when you can explain.
Because we don't know what everybody's saying and stuff, it's kind of.
Yeah, just schedule.
Recording stopped.
We'll do another meeting, but we'll wait till after your budget.
Yeah. I know it's bad for them, but-
All right, well, it should be a pretty quick meeting, hopefully. Like them. It's over there. It's over there.
You can always come back. How's you and how's everyone in your family? Do you feel so much better? You're still trying to tell yet?
Mariana,
Oh my goodness, they're on the
do we have copies?
Yes, yes,
Did he come visit us?
You ready?
Hey, did Josh reach out to you? Okay, good.
Let's just start bringing my city council away.
It's all right.
Trying to get my chair.
I'm trying to lose a little weight, you know, so I can get behind these.
I just think the first chair's just right, like too short, too tall, like and then they change it and.
Yeah. Man, who's got the air conditioning? Yeah, it's a little chilly. Thank you.
We need one more. Just anywhere in here is fine, and we'll just have you come up here to the podium. Just you, and then if you want to introduce her to us, that's great. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, bird. I wonder if there's a way to.
She's gonna go get one.
I brought my coat because I'm like, I know it's gonna be cold. Yeah. like my cozy blanket that like I can have my hands through. No, the mayor was saying it was cold, so he let go see if he could figure out whether it was.
It's so hard.
That's what I was like, okay, this is your job.
It's hard to retrofit.
I didn't know I could just climb out. I was
Shitty to live.
I mean, you have
If it changes, then we can go back to the zone, then come back to the case.
Yeah.
We say we can't do that, we can't do that. Everything does that. Yeah, but there's other systems.
Oh, you mean when they require them to have a, yeah, we talked, we were gonna talk about that. We need to have a, we need to make that part of our next work meeting. We need to have that discussion. Let's say,
We can make a lot better decisions.
you scared me.
Recording in progress.
You doing the presentation?
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So anyways, those are some of the, I mean, the boss.
I'm not even the boss of my own life. My wife is.
But I was like, what does he want to have?
Yeah,
Make
definitely my wife.
Turn the temperature. Okay, let's see, whose turn is it to pray and pledge? Today is what, April 1st? Okay, Johnson and Collins, so. Let's do Colin and Reeser. Colin, will you say the opening prayer, please? And Councilmember Reeser, will you lead us in the pledge?
Give me a holler just to make sure.
Pledge, yeah.
Right.
I'm out Friday.
Needed this.
Oh,
Wow, got real quiet all of a sudden. It must be time to start.
that's awesome.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for being here. We appreciate your attendance here with us tonight. This is the City Council meeting for the Rexburg City Council of April 1st, 2026. And that's serious, that's not a joke. That's not an April Fool's joke. All right, so we have already had a combined City Council and Planning and Zoning meeting this evening to talk about the Rexburg Development Code. So this is a continuation, but we'd like to go ahead and start this meeting with a prayer, an opening prayer, and a pledge to the flag. And I've asked Councilmember Colin Erickson to offer the opening prayer for us, after which Councilmember Dave Reeser will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So, Councilmember Erickson.
Our dear Father in heaven, we bow before you this evening to give you thanks for the many blessings we have in our lives. We're so thankful for this city and this community, and for our neighbors and people we live around, and family that we're here. Father, we're so thankful for the many blessings we have, for being here in Idaho and Rexburg, and be part of that. Father, we ask the blessing be upon this community. Bless each and every one of the individuals that live here and that visit here, that they may feel that they're connected, and that we may be able to work together and be productive and move forward. Father, we ask the blessing to be upon this country. Bless our armed forces and the decision making that's there, that they may make the right decision, that we may do the things which God wants us to do. Father, we ask you please bless us this evening, that we may make good decisions, that we may be able to listen and understand and do the things we need to further this community forth, and to do the things we need to. Father, we ask you to be with us and continue to bless us. We ask and do this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. At this point in time, we'd like to go ahead with the roll call of the city council members. We'll ask Mariana, or know them a little bit, so we'll start with Timothy Bowman, who has been hired to be our building maintenance coordinator. So, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good evening. My name is Timothy Bowman. I have over 30 years of building maintenance experience, and I'm excited to be part of the City of Rexburg team. Everybody has been extremely helpful, pleasant. It's an honor to serve. I've also been married for 30 years, so that's a testament to my commitment to everything I do. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. All right, next we will be favored by Kelly Weathersby, who has been hired to be the city electrician and also building maintenance coordinator.
Yeah, good evening. Happy to be here. A little bit about myself is I grew up in Pocatello, spent about 10 years in Pensacola, Florida, came back here to Rexburg and met my wife, Darla, who is a school teacher at Madison County School District. And I think 15 years now this year we've been married.